Thank you.
Come here, get a small glass, Bobby. Just...
Oh, Senator. Oh, Mr. Cartwright. I wonder if we might have a few words together.
I certainly, Mr. Endicott. I see no reason why we shouldn't.
Oh, Mrs. Wright suggests that we use her study. I wanted to meet you for a long time. A happy circumstance that we were both invited to be Mrs. Wright's guests in her home when you and your sons were in San Francisco.
I have the distinct feeling that you might have arranged for those invitations.
Yes, well, to business. You are aware that I own certain parcels of land in Nevada.
Mr. Endicott, I'm aware that you own half of the northern part of the state of Nevada.
I like Nevada, Mr. Cartwright. It's young, vital, growing. I want to help with that growth, which means taking an active part in the politics of the state. I want to ask your full and active support for an old friend of yours.
For what office?
Governor.
And your candidate?
John Faraday, your friend.
Well, Mr. Endicott, our present governor has served this state capably and honestly, and he wishes to remain in office, and he has my full support.
Faraday is counting on you.
I've known John for a long time, and I admired him until he became your tame judge.
My tame judge.
Didn't you pay for all his campaign expenses when he ran for office in Virginia City 2 years ago?
John Faraday has been a good judge, and you cannot say otherwise.
Yes, it's true. But so far, he hasn't had to rule on the legality of any of your land transactions. That's when he begins to earn his keep, isn't that so?
Be careful how you slander me, Cartwright.
I don't consider it slander to say that a man like you wants a governor who will come running whenever you whistle and do exactly what you tell him to. Mr. Endicott, you have a reputation for corrupting everything you touch. Now you want to control a governor so you can corrupt this state. You're not going to do either. I promise you that.
Is this a declaration of war, Cartwright?
Unless you stay out of Nevada politics.
Fighting me can be a very unhealthy pursuit. A number of men could confirm that, except that they are no longer with us.
Are you threatening me?
Make of it what you will, but don't get in my way.
Excuse me. Oh, Ben. You've talked with Mr. Endicott. I thought you might have something to tell me.
No, John, I haven't anything to tell you. Mr. Endicott possibly has.
Judge Faraday,
Yes,
Mr. Endicott would like to talk to you.
right away. I'll see you back in Virginia City. Good night, gentlemen.
Judge?
Paul, what was that all about, anyhow?
Sam Endicott is increasing his investments in Nevada.
Property or people?
Both, Joseph. Both.
I thought you said Ben Cartwright was a friend of yours.
Well, he is a friend of mine. I thought he was.
He will not support you.
Did he say why?
Ben Cartwright has ambitions of his own. He wants to sit in the governor's chair.
But he's never held an elective or appointive office.
He wants to be governor. He asked for my support. I turned him down. He's too arrogant, too self-seeking, not the right man at all.
I've never thought of him in that way, but yes, sir.
With Cartwright against you, it'll be a tougher race, but you'll win. On your way out, ask Mr. Broom to come in.
Of course. Thank you, Mr. Endicott. If I do win, I'll do everything in my power to be the kind of governor...
Never mind. Save the speeches for the campaign.
Mr. Endicott wants to see you.
We've got a fight on our hands. Cartwright is tougher and better informed than I thought he could be. It's an error in judgment, Broom.
And Faraday, is he still in the bag?
He'll do as he's told as long as he can convince himself that it is for the common good. But that's only half of our problem. Cartwright is going to search for ammunition with which to fight us. If he digs deeply enough, he might discover our plans for the development company.
If he does, we'll buy him off.
Not a chance. Ben Cartwright is a highly moral man.
Well, that kind comes a little more expensive. We'll make him a partner.
He wouldn't listen to that for 1 minute.
Well, there's only one answer.
Not so fast. The nominating committee meets in Carson City in 20 days.
Without Cartwright's support, Faraday couldn't be nominated for dog catcher.
If Cartwright endorses Faraday...
No contest. Faraday wins going away. But Ben Cartwright isn't going to change his mind.
So we can't win without Cartwright's endorsement. That means we will get Cartwright's endorsement one way or the other. Dead or alive.
As I said, there's only one answer.
You will leave in the morning for Carson City. The hotel?
Cattleman's Hotel.
You rent the biggest suite. Hire whomever you need. You start this campaign with the biggest fanfarade possible.
Done it many times before.
Do you, have a man to take care of,
I'll get one.
Hey, throw my bag down, will you, friend? Look, much obliged, old-timer. Anytime you're in the market for Hastings hardware, best in the West by test, you remember old Welburn White. Drummer par excellence. I can read your unspoken thoughts, Mr. Broom. You're thinking that I don't look like somebody you'd hire to kill a man.
You don't look like a man I'd hire to hold a horse.
One of my greatest assets, sir. You just think about it for a minute and you'll see that I'm right. You know something? I never go anywhere without these catalogs. They're my passport. Take me anywhere I want to go, no questions asked. See, I sell hardware. That's my cover. The hardware I sell is very real. I'll sell you 1 2-penny nail, 40 horse collars, or 100 gross of axes. Now, I carry another little book that I only show to special people, like yourself. Go ahead, open it up. Prominent Denver attorney found dead. No clues. I'm gonna turn the page. Oh, now that's a good one. Wyoming mourns unsolved murder of state's attorney. And you know something? He never went anywhere without a bodyguard.
Here's your advance. That's $500.
Well, now that's right as rain. Plus another $2,000 payment upon delivery, as you might call it.
Time is of the essence.
You mean hit quick and get out of the state fast?
Quick, but not slipshod. The, customer is Ben Cartwright of the Ponderosa.
You pick 'em big, mister.
Not too big for you, Mr. White?
No, sir. They all fall down when they're hit by a 44. Ben Cartwright. I'll have to have a whole new chapter just for him in my little book. I'll leave on the first stage for Virginia City. Oh, come on, relax, Mr. Broom. I guarantee satisfaction. As of right now, Mr. Ben Cartwright is as good as dead.
Come in.
Spare a few moments?
Of course. Court doesn't reconvene for another 10 minutes. Part of a judge's obligation to be available to the public.
Thank you.
Sit down.
John, I'd like to discuss your candidacy.
Yes, I thought that would be the subject of your visit.
Well,
Ben, would it help if I assured you that I did or said nothing to influence Mr. Endicott's choice of a candidate?
I didn't come here to pass judgment on you.
Well, then why did you come, Ben? Certainly not to offer me your congratulations or your backing. No, wait. I don't blame you. If I were in your shoes, I'd probably feel the same way. You must have had your heart set on that nomination. And then to be turned down by the man who could help you most, well, believe me, I can understand your disappointment.
Wait a minute, Judge. I don't resent your candidacy. It's your backing that concerns me. And I think it should concern you too, John. And let's get a couple of things straight. I never sought the nomination. But if I did, Endicott would be the last man in the world I'd ever turn to for help.
Well, if that's your story, Ben, I won't argue. If you want to save face, that's your business. Only don't expect me to go along with it.
All right, John. That's what you want to believe. Let's talk about the governorship. And you, and Endicott. Why is he backing you?
Because he's my friend. And he knows I'll do everything I can to be a good governor.
John, I'm going to lay it right on the line. What's in it for him?
Oh, I see through you now, Ben Cartwright. You'd like to get at Endicott through me. Well, it won't work. Endicott is an honest man.
Who just happens to want to pay all your campaign expenses.
Now, if you have a quarrel with Endicott, that's personal. I have nothing to do with that. But don't impugn his honesty or mine. Court convenes in 2 minutes. Was there anything else on your mind, Mr. Cartwright?
No, I guess not. The worst part of all this is you believe everything you said.
Plenty of people to listen to us. The problem is, what do we tell them?
They tell them the truth. Endicott's trying to steal the state of Nevada.
What do we say when they ask for proof?
Why don't you just tell them what you think, Paul? I mean, people around here have been taking your word for things for a long time.
You're a delegate to the convention. You get a chance to talk then.
Oh, yes, I plan to do that. But as you said, Endicott's a smart man, and he'll be ready and waiting. He'll tell the convention just what he told Judge Faraday, that I'd try to get him to back me, and he turned me down. And then what?
You just cinch the nomination of Judge Faraday, don't you?
2 weeks before the convention starts, huh? Well, I'll try to talk to as many delegates as I can. Hope that I can convince them.
I'm waiting for a caller, isn't it?
Evening. Mr. Cartwright?
Yeah, I'm one of them. What can I do for you?
Well, my card, sir.
Welburn White, Hastings Hardware. Satisfaction guaranteed. It's a hardware salesman, Pa.
Well, have the gentleman come in.
Right this way, sir.
Much obliged. Ah, you must be Mr. Ben Cartwright.
That's right, I am.
Welburn White, at your service, sir.
You're a hardware salesman?
Yes, Hastings. The best in the West by test.
Well, I hope you didn't come out from town just to see us.
Well, you're the last of 4 ranches in this area.
Because if you had, you've made a trip for nothing. You see, we've been buying our hardware from a dealer in Virginia City for some years now, and, well, actually, there's no reason to change.
Oh, well, that's the fortunes of war, as you might say.
Hey, you stick around for a cup of coffee?
Oh, much obliged, but I think I'll get back into town. You know, a city man like me gets mighty nervous at night out here in the wide open spaces. Well, it was good meeting all of you. You know, it's not very often you get a chance to meet somebody as important as Ben Cartwright. No sirree.
Good night, sir.
Good night there, young fella.
Cheerful cuz, ain't he?
Why shouldn't he be? He got nothing on his mind but hardware.
That's all I had on my mind. Well, I better get some rest. I've got a lot of talking to do in the next couple of weeks.
Good night, Paul.
Good night. Just grazed him. He's still alive.
See anything? No.
Let's get him down.
Yes. Get his feet.
I think there are probably some men who might want to see me dead. There's only one I can think of right now.
Endicott. But that night, San Francisco, Mrs. Wright's, he threatened me with murder. I thought I was bluffing.
Well, from what I hear about Endicott, he's capable of anything.
What about bushwhacking? Will he risk a hanging?
All kinds of men you can hire to do some bushwhacking for you.
Well, so how do we prove it?
Don't get in my way. Those are the last words he said to me. Don't get in my way. And I got in his way. I got in the way. The thing he wanted most. Faraday's nomination.
Well, we can't let him get away with it.
Yes, we can, Joe. We can and we will. Boss, that bushwhacker, he wouldn't have any way of knowing whether I was dead or not, would he?
Oh, no, I don't reckon there's any way he could.
Yeah. All right, then. One of you will go into Virginia City. And you'll announce my death.
What are you talking about, your death? What for?
Now, that Dr. Wilson, he's a man that'll help us in our kind of fight, I think. Talk to him first. We're gonna fix Endicott once and for all. Can't get used to reading my own obituaries. Well, all this fills me with a great deal of respect. I had no idea I was such a wonderful person.
Paul, you don't suppose them fellas might be stretching a little?
I'm sure they were, but I sure hate to play this kind of cruel trick on some very fine people.
Well, as soon as they find out why you're doing it, they'll forgive you.
I hope so.
Me. Hey. That's just candy with no batch of mail. How is he? Oh, he's fine. He ate a bigger lunch than Hoss.
It does more complaining than any corpse I ever been around.
I wish you fellas would stop talking about me as if I weren't here.
Sorry about that.
There's a lot of excitement in town. They found the bushwhacker.
They did?
Coffee thinks so. It's a man named Briggs.
Briggs? I don't know anyone named Briggs.
Well, that figures. A hired gun Endicott brought in to kill you.
He may be a hired gun, but he looks more like a saddle tramp. His horse had a nick in one of his shoes. Sheriff Coffey found hoof prints to match it near the barn. And there was a rifle cartridge there, too.
Has he confessed?
Not yet, but he had $200 in his pocket. He admits not having worked for 3 months, but he claims he won in a poker game.
Well, it should be easy enough to prove if it's true.
No, not so easy. It was a two-handed poker game in a hotel room. No witnesses, and the loser left town.
Convenient.
Sheriff Coffey's convinced he has the right man, so's the prosecutor. Trial starts tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Sort of pushing things, ain't they?
Well, Mr. Cartwright was a very important man. Town's in an ugly mood. They've got a rope and a gallows, and they're looking for somebody to hang.
That sure changes things.
Well, that convention starts in 5 days anyhow. There ain't no way they can finish that trial up by then.
I wouldn't count on that.
All right, you men, hurry it up.
so sorry you have to leave.
So now we have female delegates.
Some of the delegates have wives and sisters. Some of the men have lady friends. That happened to be one of mine.
What else have you accomplished?
I spent a lot of your money. Where I had to, I promised State House help. And where I could, I bought the votes.
We have votes enough?
Almost.
And the Cartwright?
$2,500. I also had to buy you a forger. That was another $750.
I didn't know that they were that expensive.
I always find it wiser to pay what they ask. Otherwise, they might sign your name to a check.
Aren't you going to invite me in, mister?
What are you doing here? According to our agreement, you were supposed to get out of the state and stay out.
That was until I found out who I was working for.
You're working for me.
Not unless your name is Samuel Carter Endicott.
It's all right, Broom. Perhaps this gentleman would like to discuss matters further with me.
Well, if you're Samuel Carter Endicott.
I am. I'll handle this, Broom. You took a chance coming here.
No moon tonight. I left my horse 3 streets down, came up the back stairway. Nobody saw me.
Most commendable, Mr.
White. Welburn White.
I take it that we are indebted to you for all the evidence leading to the arrest of the cowhand Briggs.
Oh, well, you take it right, mister. I stole his horse from the livery stable and used it right out to the Ponderosa. And you know something? I played two-handed poker with him in my hotel room, and I lost $200 to him.
A stroke of genius. And now you feel that you are entitled to more than the stipulated sum. I agree, Mr. White. Mr. Broom is inclined to watch the purse strings over carefully. How much more would you think is fair? 1,000? 2?
Well, now, the way I look at it, mister, this ought to be worth, let's say $10,000 a year minimum.
A year, did you say? Are you saying that you expect an annual honorarium?
Well, a man as important as you have a lot of people on your payroll. But I don't imagine you got anybody with my, particular talent.
Touché, Mr. White. I admire your business acumen. You, obviously have studied the pros and cons, weighed them carefully, and you have decided that I cannot afford to turn you down.
Well, that's about the size of it, yes.
So you have rightly come here, without anyone seeing you, to make sure that I make sure that you don't talk. And it would be churlish of me to disappoint you. You will find his horse and get rid of it. As to our friend there, he will fit very nicely into the steamer trunk, which you will ship to San Francisco and load aboard one of our vessels bound for the Orient. Fortunately, that poor devil Briggs will pay for Mr. White's crime.
never seen a man convicted so quick on circumstantial evidence before.
This town's in an ugly mood. You saw they were looking at the jury. If they'd have found him innocent, they probably would have tarred and feathered him.
Or worse.
I just can't imagine them hanging him so quick. Tomorrow, I've never seen it set so fast.
Well, I'm no authority on hangings, but I don't know what else Judge Faraday could have done. If he'd have kept that man in jail any longer, they'd burn down the jail and him in it.
And the convention starts tomorrow. Well, I'm gonna get back to the ranch and give Pa the news.
Right. I'll see you later.
I sure didn't think they'd rush through that trial so quickly.
All we needed was one more day. One day.
And what do we do now?
The governor.
He could stop the hanging.
Yeah. Yes, he would. I'd have to show myself to him. And Endicott would know. One whole day before I want him to. The only thing I've got going for me is the surprise of showing up at the right time. The convention opens tomorrow morning. What time?
10 o'clock.
What time's the hanging scheduled for?
10 in the morning.
Well, we'll ride into town tonight after dark and get Judge Faraday to issue a stay of execution.
He's Endicott's man.
What other choice do we have?
I thought you were a ghost when you walked in. I thank God you're alive.
So do I.
But the rest. Ben, your accusations are wild. Totally without foundation.
Well, I'll say it again. Sam Endicott hired an assassin to kill me.
All right. I believe there was an assassin. But I don't believe Sam Endicott hired him.
But who else would want to see my Pa dead?
I think your father will admit he might have other enemies than Endicott.
But who else would want me dead now, at this particular time, just before the convention?
It's conjecture, supposition. Ben, can you prove any of these things in court?
Not at this time.
Well, then your accusations are pure slander. Mr. Endicott can sue you for everything you own and win.
I know that. But given time, I think I can force Mr. Endicott to expose himself.
I'll never believe Endicott had anything to do with it.
Well, if Pa didn't believe it, why do you suppose he pretended to be dead?
To get even with Endicott.
For what?
For backing me as a candidate in place of him.
I told you before, I'm not a candidate now, and I never have been.
Endicott said you came and asked him for his support.
You've known my father a long time, Judge Faraday. Have you ever known him to lie?
All right, Endicott exaggerated.
John. We've been friends. Haven't you wondered why I refused to back you?
You made it quite clear you thought I'd be bad for the state.
No. No, not you. Endicott. If you're elected, you'll be in his debt. And then one day he'll ask you for a small favor for one of his friends. Oh, nothing important, just a matter of executive prerogative. The next favor will be for him. Only it'll be bigger, and the one after that will be bigger again, and then you won't be able to stop him. Or stop yourself.
Get out! Get out and leave me alone.
You're gonna force me to show my hand now. Now, John, do you really think that I would use my own attempted murder in self-interest? Do you really believe that I could play this kind of trick on all my friends? If I'm wrong, if Sam Endicott is innocent, by tomorrow night I'll be the laughingstock of Nevada, and you'll be governor. But suppose I'm right. Just suppose I'm right. I came here tonight to show myself to you, to save Briggs from hanging. But if Endicott finds out about this, he'll announce to the world that I'm alive and guilty of the worst, the dirtiest political hoax ever pulled in this state. If you issue that stay of execution now, without giving any reasons, you'll give me time to prove to you, to everybody, that Endicott is everything I've said he is. If I'm wrong, you win. If I'm right, you lose. But you'll have done the state a great service. This is the biggest decision of your life, John.
Gentlemen. Hey, Bob. How are you? Say hello to the wife for me. How are you? Good to see you.
Jack, good to see you again. Jack Van Buren, delegate from Tonopah. I used to work for him. According to him, Joe, it's all but over. The floor vote's going to be only a formality.
Faraday.
That's what the man says.
That's what I heard.
Well, maybe there's something you haven't heard, your name being a Cartwright. Endicott and Broom are talking to key delegates in a hotel, helping them make up their minds.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Hi, how are you? How's the wife and the new daughter? Jim?
Oh, yes.
Mr. Endicott would like to talk to you now.
Fine.
Do we? Jim Porter owns the Bar M Ranch. Wife named Mary, daughter Penelope.
Oh, Mr. Porter. Jim, how's the wife? No, don't tell me. I'll remember. Mary.
Well, it beats me how you do it. We only had an opportunity to say howdy, and that was 6-7 months ago.
Well, a man likes to remember his friends. Only yesterday, I was talking about you to our next governor, John Faraday.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, he likes you very much. Now, what's your pleasure?
Oh, whatever you have, just a short one.
I'm complimented you picked me. I had to pick someone I could trust, Senator. I only wish I could be of more help. I believe everything you told me, but not all the delegates know you as well as I do.
And I can't prove a word of it.
You know the man who controls the key delegates is going to win this battle.
Gentlemen, delegates. Your friend and mine, the Honorable Samuel Endicott, would like to say a few words.
Thank you, gentlemen. In a few minutes, the convention will convene, and the serious business of nominating our next governor will begin. Before that happens, I want to read to you a very important letter from a very important man. The late Ben Cartwright was my friend.
Senator, I think it's about time you got down there.
Thanks. Be right down. Well?
Good luck.
I now speak for Ben Cartwright. I read to you from a letter that he wrote me the day before an assassin's bullet ended his life. I can think of no man better fitted to govern Nevada than our mutual friend, Judge John Faraday.
Gentlemen, Ben Cartwright never wrote any such letter. Yes, I'm alive. I'm very much alive, Mr. Endicott. I have never written a letter to Sam Endicott. I never put any recommendations on paper. I'm afraid Mr. Endicott has lied to you. He is not my friend. He is not your friend. He is certainly not the friend of the state of Nevada. I told him I would not support Judge Faraday. And when I further told him that I would support none of his nominations, he hired that assassin to kill me. I'd like to see that letter.
Of course.
This isn't even a good forgery. This is not my signature.
Now, gentlemen, Ben Cartwright could or could not have hired the unfortunate man who was hanged at Virginia City this morning to play the role of assassin. But the blame for that poor wretch's death must be forever on the conscience of Ben Cartwright. A human sacrifice for political gain.
Gentlemen, there was no hanging in Virginia City this morning. That man in jail is alive. And the stay of execution was ordered by Judge Faraday himself. And now, gentlemen, the moment of decision. On the one hand, a governor who has served us honorably and well, and who deserves our continued support. On the other hand, a puppet controlled by Mr. Endicott and Mr. Broom, two scoundrels who have corrupted everything they've ever touched, and who will stop at nothing, not even murder, to get what they want. The future course of our state, the future course of the state of Nevada will be decided today in this room. Now, gentlemen, you can let Endicott and Broom loot and destroy our state, or you can stop them in their tracks. Your vote is the only weapon you need.
Hold up, Ben. I'll be proud to walk on that convention floor with you.
Come on.
Well, Ben, how does it feel to win on the first ballot?
I'm glad the governor was renominated. Faraday sending that telegram withdrawing his name from the convention sure helped a lot. How do I feel? I'm glad it's all over.
Faraday had a lot more integrity than I gave him credit for. Shame it took a man like Endicott to bring it out.
Well, our friend Endicott's finally given up the ghost.
The hardware salesman.
Candy, get the sheriff.